reveals startling new information on their threat to commercial aircraft. Terror for sale. Thursday on CBS 2 News at 11 after an all-new Without a Trace.
Quick, 2 cans of soda for $1 or 1 for $1?
Duh, 2.
Same cannery, same soda, generic label.
Same answer, 2.
My mattresses are made by the second largest manufacturer in the world. The only difference with mine is there's no expensive brand name label or expensive talking sheep.
So what does it all mean?
Everything. You get the best of both worlds. Brand name quality at my untouchable Bob's price. So quick, which one?
Duh.
George Pataki, there's a real guy. There's a real man who really cares about people. He's been an excellent governor with regard to giving us a sense of purpose that we didn't have before. He always takes time out to see how you're doing, how you are, how your family is. I think people have always looked to George Pataki as a very honest man and a man who's a real source of strength for our state. I'm proud to call George Pataki my governor. I'm proud still to call him my friend.
Closed captioning on CBS 2 is brought to you by the commanding Toyota Sequoia. Get the feeling. Toyota.
We are just a few minutes away from the debut of the new early show team.
This morning they will debut, and they join us now to give us an idea what we can expect. Hey, that's quite a gang over there.
Hey, guys.
How are you all this morning? Fancy schmancy set, too.
Very
Pretty nice, eh?
Yeah,
Jealous,
nice.
Michael.
Yes. Figured you would ask.
Hi, Lisa.
Good morning, you guys. What's going on this morning? I know you guys are excited. You've got a new thing going, and everybody's talking about it. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, we got a lot coming up on the show.
Yeah, and busy morning, busy news day today. We're going to be, we have an exclusive interview with the Homeland Security Director, Governor Tom Ridge, and that'll be right at the top of the show, so you're not going to want to miss that.
We're also seeing all that teamwork that helped to catch the serial sniper down in the D.C. area is unraveling as jurisdictions are battling for where the trial will be. So we're going to talk with a prosecutor from Maryland. Obviously, he thinks his state is where they should start out.
We've also got an interview with the mother of Alex and Derek King, the two young Florida boys who were convicted of murdering their father before a judge threw out that verdict.
And then we do have some light news to tell you about. I guess this is news, actually. We're going to get parenting tips from Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle. You know them from Everybody Loves Raymond. And you may choose to accept or reject the parenting tips, depending upon what they present. So we will see you in just a couple of minutes. We can't wait.
Yeah. We can't either. Hannah, how are you doing leaving sports behind?
I'm doing okay, but, you know, I got to say, this is the first time, I think, in history that I've not watched Game 7 of
Hey, that's right.
It was too late, and I had to go to bed.
Oh, you baby. Hey, guys.
The highlights this morning.
Yeah.
That's right. You'll be all right.
Renee's doing sports this morning. How about that?
Oh, there's a
Love
switch.
it. Love it. Renee, Hannah, Julie, Harry, we'll see you guys in just a few minutes.
Thanks.
Have a great show.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah. Have a great show, gang. Well, this morning, Garden State commuters have a new option to get into Manhattan, a high-speed ferry service carrying riders from Monmouth County into the city. And CBS 2's Whitney Casey live in Belford, New Jersey. She has more on this morning's kickoff. Whitney?
Well, Michael, a successful kickoff this morning. We got here around 5 a.m. and the parking lot was barren. Now it's bustling. The New York Waterway told us this morning that they've already ferried about 300 people into Lower Manhattan. Let's take a look at the map exactly where the ferry will take you to. It will take you to Pier 11. There it is. Thanks. Pier 11, which is at the foot of Wall Street and South Street, and then it will take you on to West 38th Street in Midtown. Now, this ferry leaves at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's the first ferry. Then it leaves every 30 minutes after that until 11 o'clock, and then it leaves about every 90 minutes. And good news for you, too, it's free for the first week. After the first week, it'll be $15. Reporting live from Belford, New Jersey, Whitney Casey, CBS 2 News.
All right, Whitney, thank you very much. In our top stories this morning before we go, prosecutors in Virginia are expected to file capital murder charges against John Allen Muhammad today. He already faces multiple murder charges in Maryland, along with his alleged accomplice, John Lee Malveaux. A former Brooklyn judge who admitted to taking an $18,000 bribe to fix a multi-million-dollar civil settlement will be sentenced today. Victor Barron pleaded guilty in August. He faces up to 9 years in jail. And Mount Vernon firefighters are waiting for word from their mayor on their future. The station has had to be closed several times because of budget and staffing troubles.
All right, let's get another check on the forecast, our final one for this hour.
Yes, today, not a bad day at all. There's no rain in the forecast. Temperature starting out in the 40s this morning. But by afternoon, our numbers move into the middle 50s. A comfortable day. Mostly cloudy skies, though, for the afternoon hours. Right now, we're seeing some peaks of sunshine. But again, the October sun doesn't warm us up all that much. We'll be under 60 today. And the rain, even some mix of snow beginning tomorrow night. That snow, again, north and inland in relation to New York City.
Okay. You're going to be busy over the next few days. Thank you, Denise.
You will. Well, it's 5 days and counting to the big Olympics announcement on whether New York will be chosen for the final cut. Tomorrow, we're going to talk to an Olympic gold medalist who says she already knows who will mine the gold here in New York in 2012. She's talking about her son.
Yeah, she's obviously pretty confident. Be sure, by the way, to keep it here for a special broadcast of the USOC announcement of their site choice for the 2012 Olympics. That'll be this Saturday, November 2nd at 7 o'clock right here on CBS 2. Coming up today at noon, you will find out some more information about the 2012 Olympics right here. You'll find out what the head of the International Olympic Committee is saying about the potential for New York getting special treatment because of the 9/11 disaster.
And we'll also have more on this morning's difficult and emotional trip to Washington for the families of the victims of American Airlines Flight 587. And since it's Monday, our own Tony Tantilla has this week's Best Buys at the supermarket. That's all coming up today, right here on the news at noon. Now, as far as this weekend's concerned, at the box office, the movie Jackass pulled off its craziest stunt yet. Gotta say that word. Debuting in first place. I know, twice this couple of hours. Anyway, this is the big screen version of the popular MTV show, which cost $5 million to make. It took home, get this, Michael, more than $22 million over the weekend.
What are you speaking of?
Don't worry about it. The one with the J.
Yeah.
Anyway, last weekend's winner, The Ring, slipped to second place with $18 million, almost $19 million. Another fright flick, Ghost Ship, scared up more than $11 million, and it opened in third place. Sweet Home Alabama, the lovely little romantic film, in fourth place with $6 million, and My Big Fat Greek Wedding still hanging in there with $6 million.
Shows you what the critics know, right? Because Sweet Home Alabama's been getting killed since it debuted, and it's still making a ton of money. That'll do it for us today at noon. Or at noon. This morning, looking ahead of myself. The early show's coming up next.
Have a great day, everybody.
Good morning, I'm Harry Smith. At least 117 in Moscow are dead, but an American who survived the botched hostage rescue is talking for the first time. We'll have that story.
I'm Julie Chen. The sniper suspects are in custody, but threats from al-Qaeda are on the rise. Are Americans safe? We'll ask Homeland Security Chief Tom Ridge.
I'm Rene Syler. How will the death of Minnesota Senator Paul Wellstone affect the political landscape? CBS News' Bob Schieffer will be here with analysis.
And I'm Hannah Storm. Also today, an exclusive interview with the mother of those teenage boys convicted of murdering their father in Florida. Early this Monday morning, October 28, 2002.
From CBS News, Harry Smith, Hannah Storm, Julie Chen, and Rene Syler bring you The Early Show.
Starting up a brand new day.
Live from Trump Plaza in New York City.
Brand new way.
Good morning and welcome to a brand new day and a brand new team on The Early Show here on CBS. We'll tell you a lot more about ourselves and what we're up to in just a couple of minutes. But first, there is breaking news out of Amman, Jordan this morning, where an American diplomat has been shot and killed. We'll have a report from there in just a moment. And as we said, controversy is swirling over Russian security forces' use of debilitating mystery gas during that hostage rescue over the weekend.
That's right, Harry. As we said, at least 117 hostages were killed in the rescue attempt. And for the first time, an American survivor of the crisis has spoken out about what happened. CBS News correspondent Richard Roth is in Moscow with the very latest. Richard, good morning to you.
Good morning, Julie. Among the survivors is a retired piano teacher from Mountain View, California, who worried during the standoff that Chechen rebels would find out she's an American citizen. She was at the theater with her Russian son and didn't want to leave him if foreigners were singled out for release. Carried from the theater after the raid, unconscious, bleeding, and with a collapsed lung, 64-year-old Natalia Aleshnya told CBS News today that when she woke up in this Moscow hospital, she feared she'd been taken to Chechnya. She'd been asleep as troops stormed the theater. Before the noise of gunfire could wake her, gas had already been pumped in.
My son, brother, then I.
Her son's safe now, too, but Aleshnya's still too weak to be moved. Scores of former hostages are still recovering more than 48 hours after Russian troops used the disabling gas to end the theater siege. It subdued the rebels, and hundreds of captives got out alive. But officials now concede it also killed at least 115 hostages. President Putin, though, announcing a new crackdown on terrorism, today said his policy is to reply with measures adequate to the threat wherever terrorists strike. Still, observing a national day of mourning, the Russian government's now facing questions about whether it knew all the risks it was taking in its desperation to end the standoff. And there's sharp criticism that quick medical care might have saved more lives if authorities had disclosed exactly what gas was used. Even now, doctors still haven't been told. Rene, back to you.
All right, CBS's Richard Roth in Moscow, thanks so much. Now to the rest of the day's headlines. An American diplomat was shot and killed this morning in Amman, Jordan. CBS News correspondent Tom Fenton is in Amman with the latest. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Renee. Well, the American diplomat Lawrence Foley was gunned down in front of his home at 7:20 this morning. He was on the way to his automobile, which is a red Mercedes, which had license plates which clearly identify him as an American diplomat. Now, according to the first reports, he was hit by a hail of bullets, and it's not yet clear how many people were involved in the attack. So far, no organization has claimed responsibility for his assassination. The United States enjoys excellent relations with the king and government of Jordan, but Jordan's population, like that of most Arab countries, is quite hostile to American policy in the Middle East, especially American policy towards Iraq and Israel, Jordan's neighbors. And for some time now, American citizens here have been urged and cautioned to be especially vigilant. Rene?
All right, CBS's Tom Fenton, thanks. Back home, there is reportedly evidence that links serial sniper suspect John Lee Malvo with one of the shootings in Virginia. 17-year-old Malvo was arrested last week in Maryland, along with John Muhammad. Investigators reportedly believe Malvo was the killer in the shooting death of a Virginia woman outside a Home Depot store on October 14th. Virginia prosecutors are expected to file capital murder charges against the suspects today. And in sports, the Anaheim Angels are on cloud 9 after beating San Francisco 4-1 in the final game of the World Series last night to win their first ever championship. The Giants have now gone 48 years without winning a World Series. I'm doing sports. That should be Anna. Okay, all right.
Good job, Renee.
Thank you. How did I do? Good.
Fabulous.
All right, now another thing I wanted to do, weather. So here is an early look at what's going on in your area. I'm meteorologist Janine Diadama. The cloud cover, well, it is rolling in, and we're going to be looking at mostly cloudy skies here through the day. High temperatures in the middle 50s with no chance for rain. It's going to stay dry through the day today. But a national look at the weather showing some very cold numbers moving right into the northern plains ahead of a front. And as far as precipitation goes, we're going to be looking at rain in St. Louis and even some snow in Chicago. That rain is pulling eastward with time towards us by tomorrow night.
A report issued last week by two former senators warns that America remains dangerously unprepared to deal with another catastrophic terrorist attack on U.S. soil. But just how real is the threat? Homeland Security Director Tom Ridge joins us exclusively from the White House. Governor Ridge, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Harry. Nice to join you this morning.
Are we dangerously unprepared?
Well, I think Senator Hart and Senator Redmond recognize that during the past year, the federal government, state and local governments, citizens and companies have done a great deal to improve their security and become better prepared. But I think the same report recognized that there's still substantial work to be done. We still need to beef up our public health infrastructure. We still need to do a better job of sharing information with local law enforcement. We certainly still need to do a better job of getting money down to first responders so that we can practice and train and exercise. So I think they said we we've done a better job the past year, but they pointed the way that we've got a lot more work to do.
Well, these are the same group that came out with a report before 9/11, warning of terrorist activity. They were right on the money this time. If we are dangerously unprepared, whose fault is that?
Well, I think the conclusion that we are dangerously unprepared does not recognize, and I've worked with both these senators, that of the substantial progress that's been made over the past year. I think the notion that we have been idle, that we've literally done nothing since September 11th, and that this country has not responded in a fairly comprehensive way to be better prepared. I think that's substantially different than saying that we still have some additional work to do, and there's where I would disagree with my colleagues.
Do you think the American people understand the ongoing threat?
Harry, I believe that over the past year, one of the major challenges of the Office of Homeland Security and this country itself was to understand our enduring vulnerability. While we have taken extraordinary measures since 9/11, we've adapted a new national threat advisory system, while the federal government and local governments and companies have begun to develop protective measures. I think the notion that we are an open, diverse, and welcoming country that leads us, I think, to the conclusion that we will probably always have some kind of vulnerability is probably one of the hardest elements of this effort to combat terrorism for us to digest. We still are a welcoming, trusting country, and the notion that there would be those out there that try to undermine our way of life and kill our American citizens is pretty difficult for us to accept. But I think during the past year, as we've observed what's gone around the rest of the world, we appreciate now that we still are their primary target. We're better positioned to accept that notion, although obviously it's still pretty difficult for us to understand.
Well, this morning we have a diplomat gunned down in Amman. There was the terrorist attack in Bali, one in the Philippines, U.S. soldiers shot in Kuwait, a French oil tanker attack. The CIA director, George Tenet, said last week that the terrorist threat is just as serious before 9/11. If the American people don't understand that, and if the Rudman Hart report is somewhat correct in saying we're dangerously unprepared, if at minimum, shouldn't at least the level of the warning go up?
Well, first of all, Harry, we do have a level of warning that says we are an elevated level of risk, and we remind Americans every single day of that. But I would also tell you, Harry, that America is better prepared. I mean, there's a tendency when we take a look at what has America done to look exclusively at the federal government. And we've done a great deal, and much more work to be done at this level. But if you visit the states, you go to the local communities, if you take a look at what the mayors have done, if you take a look at how the first responders are preparing in their communities, see how they are prepared and are working with the police chiefs and fire chiefs and emergency service technicians. Every state now has a Homeland Security advisor. If you take a look at what the private sector has done, because they have 85% of what we would consider to be the critical infrastructure to enhance the security at facilities all across this country, we are better prepared. We still have more work to do, however, Harry, and to that extent, the senators are absolutely correct.
Folks in suburban Washington are breathing a sigh of relief because the people believed to be the snipers have been captured. If these men had turned out to be Al-Qaeda, would you think there would be the same sense of relief we're experiencing right now?
I think, Harry, this whole community felt itself to be under siege, and we said all along, let's apprehend these individuals and then we'll determine whether or not they have a terrorist connection. But it may not be terrorist in the sense that we've been talking about it nationally for the past year, but this community was terrorized and their families who endured the pain and horror of this terrorism permanently. So we're all very relieved from the president on down.
Governor, we thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good talking to you this morning, Harry. Thank you very much.
Right on. Now here's Hannah.
Thanks, Harry. As we noted, murder charges are expected to be filed against sniper suspects John Allen Muhammad and John Lee Malvo in the state of Virginia today. Maryland, where 6 of the victims were killed, has already filed charges in the sniper case. Douglas Gansler is the state attorney of Montgomery County, Maryland. Good morning, Mr. Gansler.
Good morning.
Why the rush to file charges without talking with the other jurisdictions last week?
Well, actually, we talked to all the jurisdictions. We had a meeting last week with all the local jurisdictions, all the federal jurisdictions, including the Department of Justice. We told them we were going to file charges. In fact, they urged us to file charges because, obviously, if we were sitting here now 5 days later in no jurisdiction and filed murder charges against these two people, then the community would wonder if indeed these were the people that committed these murders. Also, I took an oath to prosecute people who commit crime in Montgomery County, Maryland. When two people come into our county, murder 6 of our citizens, it's my job when we have probable cause to believe that they committed those murders to file charges.
Mr. Gansler, it's our understanding the suspects were not cooperating with the investigation. Has that changed?
Well, the suspects were brought in, they were arrested, they actually came in without much incident, they were interrogated, albeit somewhat briefly, and since then we're actually not allowed to talk to them because they're in custody of the federal government.
If you're unable to determine who pulled the trigger in which instance, how will you proceed with your prosecution?
Well, right now we're treating both of them as equally culpable in these cases, and as the investigation continues to unfold, we think we will be able to determine which of these particular people fired which particular shots at the 14 different shootings.
The state of Virginia plans to file charges today. They say they do have evidence saying that the 17-year-old John Lee Malvo was the trigger man in at least one of the murders. Now, under the state laws of Maryland, he's not eligible for the death penalty. He would be in Virginia. Does that bolster Virginia's case for holding the trial there?
Well, Virginia should hold the trial there, as Maryland should hold our trial, and the District of Columbia should. All 7 jurisdictions directly affected will ultimately have that opportunity. The logistical concern as to which jurisdiction goes first has yet to be determined. We obviously feel that not only is the outcome of any particular trial part of the prosecution, but also the healing process. In our community, the Montgomery County, because 7 of the 14 shootings occurred there, because 7 of our victims our citizens were killed, we were the beginning of this investigation, the end of the investigation. Rockville, Maryland was the epicenter of this investigation, and we feel we need to start the healing process for the victims and the community in Montgomery County. We do not feel that juveniles should be executed in Maryland. We feel that we can give them life without the possibility of parole, and that is something we would probably seek against Mr. Malvo in this case.
So you do not feel that Malvo needs to face the death penalty then?
No, but each jurisdiction, each community has different social mores, and their system feels differently about it. The legislature feels differently about it. Virginia will have that opportunity, but we are most able to get the death penalty in Maryland because we're able to prosecute. We have the best evidence. We're able to prosecute 7 of the cases at one time when each of the Virginia jurisdictions can only do 1.
All right, Mr. Gansler, we have to go. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
So it'll be really interesting to see how they manage to proceed with this, because in each community, obviously, they want justice to be served. Everybody wants the trial there, but the general consensus is that Virginia is the toughest venue in terms of the death penalty, and we'll see if, the feds take any role.
Well,
There will be
imagine
multiple trials, yeah.
We'll have to see who has, though, the most evidence and the strongest case before they, decide where they...
Yeah, but everybody wants first crack at these guys, right?
Yeah. We will stay tuned for each trial in each jurisdiction. Coming up next, the political implications caused by the death of Minnesota Senator Paul Wellstone.
And then later, the always energetic David Evangelista will be here plucking a lucky person from our audience for a head-to-toe makeover.
He's always a trip. I can't wait for that. You're watching The Early Show on CBS.
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you wanna be with me. I'm not trying to be your hero, 'cause that zero is too low to see.
Zero APR, 0 down payment, and 0 payments this year. See your local Chevy dealer today. Ends October 31st.
A record of achievement that has touched people's lives. Frank Lautenberg. The law to prevent domestic abusers from buying guns, to stop ocean dumping, to cut off foreign aid to terrorist countries, to make polluters pay to clean up toxic waste. Now, new fights to make us more secure. A real prescription drug benefit, protecting Social Security from cuts. A patient's Bill of Rights, so doctors and patients, not HMOs, make medical decisions. Frank Lautenberg, Serious Times, Serious Senator.
Raise a child everybody can love with parenting tips from TV's most popular parents. Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle in the next hour of The Early Show.
Must have folded my millionth sweater. I'm starving.
Want some chicken and stars?
And then soup? That's for the kiddie section. We're big girls now. There's a better tasting soup. Progresso chicken noodle. Tender pieces of all white meat chicken with bigger slices of vegetables and just the right seasonings. See the difference?
Well, you're right. This tastes better.
Now about those Mary Janes.
It's time to go to the better taste, the Progresso.
Pour a little summer onto your salad and catch the taste of California. Kraft Creamy Cucumber Ranch, sun-dried tomato, and balsamic vinaigrette. Kraft's dressings. Bite into summer.
The design consultants at Ethan Allen.
We'll help turn the home of your dreams into a reality.
You come in, and we have someone there to help you.
We'll take your budget and try and fit into that budget what you'd really like to do.
The complimentary design service.
It's fun.
It's free.
It's easy.
Some mornings I was so constipated I could hardly finish my route till I tried new X-Lax Ultra. The power of X-Lax in a tiny little pill with guaranteed relief by 8 a.m. Good morning.
New X-Lax Ultra with the X-Lax Good Morning Guarantee.
Welcome back to the early show on this Monday morning. I'm Hannah Storm.
And I'm Rene Syler. Still to come this morning, Everybody Loves Raymond stars Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle.
That should be interesting.
Yeah.
And how to turn an ordinary drive into a bonding experience with your kids. That's when they talk to you anyway, right there in the car. But first, here's Harry.
Thanks. As investigators try to determine what caused the plane crash that killed Senator Paul Wellstone and 7 others, including his wife and daughter, Minnesota Democrats are trying to find a candidate to run in next week's election. One name that keeps coming up, former Vice President Walter Mondale. For some analysis, we turn now to Bob Schieffer, CBS News' chief Washington correspondent and host of Face the Nation. I demoted you there for just 2 seconds. Bob, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Harry. We're mighty glad to have you back, by the way.
Thank you so much. Let's talk a little bit about Paul Wellstone first, because I remember when he first ran as a political science professor coming out of Carleton College in Minnesota. His was a real Mr. Smith goes to Washington kind of story, wasn't it?
Well, it really was, because, you know, this Senate has become kind of a millionaires club, and when Paul Wellstone got elected, it meant an enormous pay raise for him. It was the most money he'd ever made in his life. When he got to Washington, a couple of senators actually took him down and helped him buy a new suit. I'm not sure he even had a suit in those days. Tom Daschle, the Senate Majority Leader, was talking yesterday about campaigning with Wellstone and said he looked down and he had on a pair of shoes that you could see his socks coming out the top of his shoes. And he told him, he said, "You're taking this common man thing too far, Paul." And he said, no, I got these shoes on sale. They've got a lot more miles in them. He really was kind of the last of, he was a populist, really. He was very liberal, but I think he was more a populist even than a liberal. All the conservatives liked him because he was one of those rare people who actually believed in what he campaigned for. He really was a very sincere, a very nice person.
Yeah, talk the talk and walk the walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the Minnesotans going to do now? Everybody is talking that Walter Mondale is sort of a done deal. Is that what you're hearing?
I think it is, and I think the final proof of that was that yesterday Republicans began to attack Mondale and his record. Newt Gingrich on Meet the Press yesterday began to point out that Mondale was a tax raiser, someone who had wanted to raise the eligibility age for Social Security. The people in Republican officials in Minnesota began to say he was someone who had always wanted to raise taxes and was a link with the past. I think what's going to happen, Harry, is that tomorrow there's going to be a memorial service for Wellstone. They're expecting as many as 20,000 people to be there. And then on Wednesday, the state Democratic Farmer Labor Party will nominate someone, unless it's Mondale. It is going to be Mondale. I just don't think there's any question about that. And then you're in the situation of having a Senate campaign that will be exactly 1 week long. I think it's going to be a very difficult campaign for the Republican candidate, Norm Coleman. I mean, here you have, he's campaigning in the wake of this funeral. You have an icon of Minnesota politics in Walter Mondale. I think it's going to be a very difficult thing for him to do.
Bob, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you,
Good to see you. You bet. Julie?
All right, thanks a lot, Harry. Still ahead on the early show, our exclusive interview with the mother of Derek and Alex King, the young brothers convicted of beating their father to death. That and much more after these messages and your local news.
This portion of the early show sponsored by Walmart. Always low prices. Always.
Working on the rollbacks, prices going down, down. Working on the rollbacks, whoop, another goes down. Working on the rollbacks, prices going down, down. Working on the rollbacks, whoop, another goes down.
Walmart rollbacks. Working hard to save you even more.
Working.
Always.
Working.
On November 22nd.
My friends call me Jinx.
My friends call me James Bond. Live for the moment.
You're a gambling man.
If the stakes are right.
What happened to you?
Bond and die. Another day. Let's get down to business. Who sent you?
Your mama.
Pierce Brosnan. Halle Berry.
Looks like we're going down together.
Not yet. Die Another Day. Rated PG-13. Starts November 22nd.
Sure, sometimes life spins out of control. So how do you stay on top of things? With Taster's Choice coffee. The rich roast flavor and aroma really gets you going. So you can handle whatever's in your path. Taster's Choice. Advantage you.
It's better than beef and mushroom soup.
Campbell Select beef with portobello mushrooms and rice. It starts with real beef stock, not water like yours. And Campbell Select beef Progresso in a taste test. Hey.
That is better.
Campbell Select.
Any more chips for the dip?
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't like mine.
Now they are.
More whole chips for more whole dips. Tarangos, also in lightly flavored pepper jack cheese or salsa.
How long does she have to wait for relief when she's miserable with a cold? As fast as you can open the Vapor Rub, she can begin to feel like she's breathing again. No pill or syrup can give her that. Vapor Rub, the quick Vicks.
Meow, 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 meow.
Meow, 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 meow.
Meow Mix comes in 2 varieties, original and seafood middles. Tastes so good, cats ask for it by name.
Meow, meow, meow.
Great. Now that song's going to be stuck in my head all day.
Meow. Some mornings I was so constipated I could hardly finish my route till I tried new X-Lax Ultra. The power of X-Lax in a tiny little pill with guaranteed relief by 8 a.m. Good morning.
New X-Lax Ultra with the X-Lax Good Morning Guarantee.
Here's your forecast, 63 degrees with scattered showers throughout the day.
All right, hey, we got Chad coming in from Wall Street. Chad, what's happening out in the market?
The S&P is trading at heavy volume as the Dow is up and the NASDAQ is up.
Looks like everything's looking up today. We got Chopper John coming in with a traffic report. Chopper John.
Yeah, Jim, you want to board the Old Mill Parkway?
I love Chopper John.
When you can do all this and more with a wireless phone, that's M-Life from AT&T Wireless. Your mobile life made...
Live from the CBS Broadcast Center, this is CBS 2 News This Morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Lisa Hill. It is 7:25 on your Monday morning. Weather and traffic in just a moment. But first, New Jersey commuters have a new way to get into Manhattan. A high-speed ferry service is now carrying riders from Monmouth County all the way into Manhattan. And CBS 2 reporter Whitney Casey joins us live now from Belford, New Jersey, with more on this. Good morning, Whitney.
Good morning, Lisa. And a successful day for the New York waterway. So far, 600 commuters have been ferried across into Lower Manhattan right here from Belford, New Jersey. The first day, let's take a look at the map at exactly where this ferry service will take you into Lower Manhattan. It'll take you here from Belford to Pier 11, which is at the foot of Wall Street and South Street, and then, if you wish, on to West 38th Street in Midtown. Now, again, the service starts here at 6 o'clock a.m. on weekdays, and it runs every 30 minutes after that. It runs all the way until 11 o'clock like that, back out here live, and then it starts at 11 o'clock running every 90 minutes, and that's the weekday schedule. Now, this week, the good news is the service is free every day. After this week, it'll be $15 one way. That's the story here in Belford, New Jersey. Whitney Casey, CBS 2 News. Back to you, Lisa.
Okay, thank you, Whitney. From Whitney's shot, looks like a sunny day. We'll find out more about our weather forecast right after this quick break.
News on CBS 2 is brought to you by HIP Health Plan of New York.
Now, more choices.
Now, more doctors.
Now, more hospitals.
Now that's HIP.
HIP Health Plan is working harder than ever.
Growing memberships.
Building relationships. Creating partnerships.
Now that's great news.
Now.
Now that's HIP.
Who should pay to clean up toxic waste? Senator Frank Lautenberg wrote the law forcing corporate polluters, not New Jersey taxpayers, to pay for toxic cleanups. But Doug Forrester wants taxpayers to foot the bill for cleaning up Superfund toxic waste sites. Forrester even called for raising the gas tax on commuters to pay. Call Doug Forrester. Tell him corporate polluters, not New Jersey taxpayers, should pay for toxic waste.
Which New York radio listener will play for $1 million? Will it be someone from 103.5 The New KTU, 107.5 WBLS, or CD 101.9? Find out this week on Millionaire.
Weekdays at 4, only on CBS 2.
7:27 is your time. Let's find out about your weather forecast from Janine. Janine, sunshine and clouds, huh?
Yeah, a little bit of a mixture, at least this morning. But the high clouds are coming in, and that's because the storm system brewing in the Tennessee Valley. Actually, it'll bring some snow to Chicago today. That's all going to be moving east. So that means our forecast gets increasingly cloudy and then kind of wet. Today, high temperatures in the mid-50s. But tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, even some snow, wet snow and sleet possible north and northwest inland in relation to New York City, with some cold morning temperatures Wednesday, about 40 degrees. Don Pachin right now has a look at our morning commute. At least it's dry weather-wise.
Dry roads equal a nice commute, Janine, and so far it's looking pretty good. We do have a couple of items, though, to watch out for. This is on the Goethals Bridge heading out to New Jersey on the maps. Heading out Staten Island Expressway, a little bit slow from South Street on the outbound side. Inbound, not too bad at all, as a matter of fact, across the Staten Island Expressway. And still got that tractor trailer in the woods, eastbound 78 at exit 29. Lisa, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Don. Coming up on the early show, former Mayor Rudy Giuliani talks about life after Gracie Mansion. That's coming up next on the early show. Have a great day, everybody.
There is a rhythm to life. We sleep at night and wake in the morning. It's this sleep cycle that helps keep us in a healthy balance. But for millions of Americans, sleep doesn't always come easy. Fortunately, there's Ambien. Ambien is a prescription sleep aid that can help you get a full night's sleep. While natural sleep is best, Ambien helps you fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and wake rested and refreshed, not groggy the next morning. No wonder Ambien is the #1 prescribed sleep aid in America. Until you know how Ambien will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Side effects may include drowsiness, dizziness, and diarrhea. You shouldn't take it with alcohol. Patients who abuse prescription sleep aids may become dependent. Prescription sleep aids are most often taken for 7 to 10 days as needed. Your doctor will advise you about taking them longer. Take Ambien only when you can devote a full 7 to 8 hours to sleep and wake rested and ready to start your day. Talk to your doctor about Ambien. Ambien works like a dream.
Preventing miscarriages, how a simple test could help. CBS 2 News at 11 tonight.
Would you run for mayor again? Would you run for president?
I don't know.
Do you want this job? We can get you this one.
Maybe the early show. Good morning and welcome back to the early show. I'm Rudy Giuliani. In this half hour, we'll tell you why antibiotics can sometimes do more harm than good when it comes to fighting infections. And later, our celebrity stylist surprises a lucky viewer with a head-to-toe makeover that takes less than 60 minutes. How did I do?
I think it's safe to say we're not worried about losing our jobs. With all due respect. No, that was excellent. Rudy Giuliani, great to have you here.
Good luck.
Gosh, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
No, you could do stand-up comedy in case this broadcasting thing doesn't work out for you. He's still trying to get over the fact that the Yankees weren't in the World Series. Hope you recovered.
This wasn't really October.
Yeah, there you go.
This October is canceled as far as I'm concerned. Although, congratulations. to the Angels. They were a great team. They really were.
Yeah. I thought you were going to congratulate us. All right.
I'm wishing you luck.
How about to you, too? You have so much going on. This wonderful book, Leadership, which is at the top of virtually every bestseller list. It's fantastic. You've got all sorts of things going on. You're getting married. You've got a new hairdo. You know, we want to get the scoop on everything. But first, you know, I do want to ask you about this sniper case in Washington, all the jurisdictions fighting over who gets the trial first. Since you were a former federal prosecutor, how do you think this should proceed? Do you think that the federal officials will and should get involved?
Federal officials probably, if they have to, should mediate it and figure it out. Hopefully, Virginia and Maryland can work it out, figure out the order of prosecution. They're both going to have to prosecute the case. You can't prosecute Maryland crimes in Virginia or Virginia crimes in Maryland. The question is really, I guess, who goes first?
Do you think it should go to the toughest venue first?
I think I'd let them decide it. And I think if they couldn't decide it, then I think the Justice Department has to step in and make a decision and also decide whether they want to bring a federal prosecution.
Right.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the book Leadership. It is in its 7th printing. Needless to say, you're hot right now. Why do you think you're in such demand?
I don't know. It was a labor of love. I wrote that book over a 2.5 year period. I got most of it done before September 11.
Right.
And then had to go back after 4 months of being away from it and reflect on the things that I had written about, the leadership lessons I had learned, how to get through personal crisis. So I redid a little of it, but it's mostly the same. And it helped me. The book helped me a lot in getting through all the things I've had to go through in life, including prostate cancer. So for me, it's sharing with people things that I have learned, and I'm glad it's doing well.
Yeah, one of the things that you talk about in the book, and when I saw this, I thought, well, this would be good for Wall Street, which is to under-promise and over-deliver. Yeah, and that's something we don't see a lot. We saw just the opposite happening on Wall Street.
Yeah, I mean, don't really promise something unless you're sure you can deliver it.
Right.
I mean, the bold promises that sometimes people make in an election campaign or in a business will come back to haunt them. So you really should try to follow a rule of, if you promise something, sit back and reflect, can I actually deliver it? And if you can't, well, then wait, say, I'll try, you know, whether you promise to reduce taxes or not. Why not promise I'll try? Mm-hmm. And, you know, leave yourself options just in case something goes wrong, that kind of thing. Those are some of the illustrations.
We're living this ether of Rudy just over the top. We were together in New Orleans, a month or so ago. Right. People reacted to you as like a superstar. I mean, just, it was right. Are you astounded by that?
Sometimes. But, you know, I'm used to it in New York, not being reacted to as a superstar, being reacted to. Right. It beats some of the other reactions I used to get, you know, hey, you bum, get out of here. You know,
well, here would be my question, though.
What are you doing here?
Have you had a moment to reflect, amidst all of the success and adulation, things, if you had it to do over again, you would do differently here in New York City? In 30 seconds or less.
Oh, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I would do differently. It's very hard to reflect. I mean, some of the things that happened, you would hope and pray didn't happen. I mean,
9/11.
What happened on September 11? Absolutely. Half the time I reflect on it, I close my eyes and just say to myself, it didn't happen. I wish it didn't happen. I mean, there were a lot of technical things I might have done differently about government.
As mayor,
I would have started the administration for children's services earlier. I would have probably done a lot of different things. You know, I describe in the book things I would have done differently. But there's no major thing that I would have done differently. You don't get the chance to do that. I mean, you just get a chance to make decisions. Yeah. No, you just get a chance to make decisions, and you got to move forward.
And in the meantime, we have a very important task for you. And that is to get it to the weather, okay?
That's right. All right. You want the job on the early show.
Take us away, and thanks for being here.
Here's an early look at what's going on in your area.
Hey, thank you, Rudy. Temperatures are going to be in the middle 50s this afternoon here in the city. Some low 50s, though, in a lot of the suburbs, inland counties. We'll see some cooler numbers like in Newburgh and Orange County. Your numbers are going to be in the low 50s. Mostly cloudy skies here in the northeast as a storm system approaches. That storm actually is going to bring cooler weather into the Mid-East, or I should say the Midwest, and also into St. Louis. That rainfall, that rain will be arriving here tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning.
You did all right.
Yes,
you did all right. I think we need to get you on the payroll. Well, still coming up next, the mother of 2 young boys convicted of killing their father speaks out for the first time in an early show exclusive.
Plus, best-selling author Scott Turow tells us about his new novel called Reversible Errors. That's coming up.
And 2 great actors, Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle, from the hit show Everybody Loves Rudy. No.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Everybody Loves Raymond.
They do.
This is The Early Show on CBS, and good luck.
They've been called a terrorist's perfect weapon, illegally bought and sold across the globe. And now they may have found their way here. Thursday at 11, CBS 2's Michael Pomeranz takes you to Europe and back to investigate this secret black market of high-tech weapons and to reveal startling new information on their threat to commercial aircraft. Terror for Sale. Thursday on CBS 2 News at 11 after an all-new Without a Trace.
Critics are raving. I Spy is undoubtedly one of the funniest films of the year.
Sexual healing. Sexual healing.
I Spy, rated PG-13, opens everywhere Friday.
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you want to be with me. I'm not trying to be your hero, 'cause that zero is too low to see.
Zero APR, zero down payment, and zero payments this year. See your local Chevy dealer today. Ends October 31st.
Sit. 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 Sit.
Uh-oh. Better get Mako.
See Mako for Ambassador Paint, $229, and get a free estimate on body repair.
Billionaire Tom Golisano's campaign is built on lies, and he's been caught again. The Post says his new attack ad is inaccurate and classic mudslinging. The Times called another Golisano attack ad false. Newsday said misleading. Losing badly and desperate, Tom Golisano has sunk to new lows. Inaccurate, false, misleading, classic mudslinging. Tom Golisano is lying. What's worse, he knows it.
You feel sad for the little creamer? That is because you're crazy. Tacky items can easily be replaced with better IKEA.
The fate of two boys convicted of killing their dad is back in the hands of a Florida court. Earlier this month, the judge overturned guilty verdicts against Derek and Alex King. Now, a mediator will try to work out what's to become of the teenagers. Early Show national correspondent Hattie Kaufman spoke with the boy's mother in her first nationally televised interview.
We got to know them as the angelic-looking boys found guilty in the vicious beating death of their dad.
Guilty of second-degree murder.
But the road to this point in their lives began a decade ago with abandonment.
It's like I wanted to escape, and I woke up and I didn't want to face another day, but, you know, it's like thoughts enter my mind about running away.
That's what she did. Janet French left her 4 children, Derek, age 5, Alex, 4, and their twin baby brothers. She never returned home. Today, Janet calls herself Kelly Marino.
I was a dancer for a very short time.
A dancer, exotic dancer.
Yeah. It's like I just had, you know, no help or anything there, and no, you know, plus financial problems alone would just about kill a person. But, you know, then you have 4 little boys, and you can't even afford to feed them or anything. It's hard.
The burden was left with their father, Terry King. He, too, couldn't manage.
When Janet and Terry split up, Terry was home with all 4 of the children by himself. He had no help.
It almost looks like you're the mom in some of these pictures.
I felt like it. This is Derek at our house, and it's playpen.
For a time, the boys were shuttled between grandparents. In a handwritten note, their mom gave custody of Derek to Linda Walker.
We took him to get his first haircut. We taught him how to talk and walk.
But eventually, Terry took all 4 boys to an orphanage. He told a newspaper, "I couldn't even go to work. I have no one to care for my boys as of today."
Terry wanted to put the boys together for a short period of time until he could get his act together and get his job going, get some bills paid, and get the boys back, because that was his goal.
But it didn't turn out that way.
No, it didn't.
The twins were adopted. And though Alex and Derek would ultimately be rejected by foster parents, they too were separated, sent to live with strangers.
At the time, it seemed like the right decision, especially with people who were supposed to be older and smarter and more intelligent, you know, and about the ways of rearing children or whatever.
You don't have any regrets?
No, I have plenty of regrets. I mean, I have lots of regrets.
Fast forward 10 years, and Kelly is attending the murder trial of Alex and Derek.
If their mom walked in, say the first day of court, would they know that's mom?
They didn't know.
They didn't know their mom.
But they figured since she had blonde hair, that was their mother.
The two stood accused of killing their father, though another man, Ricky Chavez, who had befriended Alex, was also charged with the murder. The house has been bulldozed, but this is where Terry King was living with his son Alex. And this is where a year ago he was bludgeoned to death and the house set on fire. In a taped confession, Alex describes Derek hitting his father with a baseball bat.
He hits him in the back, makes contact with the left side, and makes contact with the forehead, knocks a hole in the forehead. You can see his brains.
But later, the boys said Chavez was the murderer and persuaded them to take the blame.
He was saying that if we took the blame, then that we would get off on self-defense because we were juveniles.
How could one man have such power over them? Simple, says Alex's defense attorney. The boys would do anything for someone to love them.
Can you, in shorthand, describe their upbringing?
Horrific. I mean, it's just a combination of events. And Alex's world family is extremely transient. You know, you go from, okay, I've got 3 brothers, to I have 1 brother, to I'm in this daycare, to I'm in this foster home, to I'm back with my dad and my brother's in some other kind of foster home. No one intentionally put him through this, but these are the events in his life. And it opened the perfect door for Ricky Chavez to walk in.
Behind this fence is the trailer where Ricky Chavez lived. This is where 12-year-old Alex says he was seduced, drinking, partying, and becoming Chavez's lover.
Were you in love with Ricky Chavez?
At that time, yes.
And did you willingly engage in sex with Ricky Chavez?
Yes, sir, I did.
Chavez had previously been convicted of child molestation. His trailer home was known as a party house. After the boys were arrested, a note in jail urged them to just be strong and don't change anything. It will work out if nothing changes in the testimony. Though they did change their story, the boys were found guilty. Ricky Chavez was acquitted.
Not guilty.
Even members of the jury that convicted Derek and Alex of murder now say the trial was unfair. And the jury forewoman has become a crusader for the boys.
These boys had a bad life, and they were set up to fail from the beginning. You know, where were all these relatives? Where was the mother? Where were the grandparents?
We could have been more involved, but we don't push. And of course, hindsight's 20/20. I wish we had.
Now the grandparents do visit the boys in jail. And their mother says Alex has one fear.
But it wasn't like he was worried about being in prison for the rest of his life. He was worried about, you know, people forgetting about him. And,
Did people forget about him when he was growing up?
No, I did not. No, we did not.
If the court mediator decides the boys should be released and sent home, the question is, where is home? For The Early Show, Hattie Kaufman, CBS News, Pensacola, Florida.
And the boys will remain behind bars while prosecutors and the defense try to work out a deal. If a deal cannot be reached, Alex and Derek could face a new trial. Meanwhile, Ricky Chavez will be tried on child molestation charges. Next in our Health Watch, the antibiotic addiction that is jeopardizing American health care. You're watching The Early Show on CBS.
George Pataki wants to talk about his record on crime, but his administration got caught selling paroles for campaign contributions to an armed robber and a major drug kingpin. The federal prosecutor called it the biggest fundraising scandal that this state has seen in a long time. Pataki's parole board chairman was named by a federal judge as an unindicted co-conspirator, but he's still on the job. George Pataki, It's about the money.
Which New York radio listener will play for $1 million? Will it be someone from 103.5, the new KTU, 107.5 WBLS, or CD 101.9? Find out this week on Millionaire.
Weekdays at 4, only on CBS 2.
Hey, we love this stuff too. Come to Broadway.com for tickets from people who are as passionate about Broadway as you are. Broadway.com. We get you in like no one else can.
Senator Frank Lautenberg supports the policies of the past. He voted 7 times against the death penalty for terrorists and to freeze defense spending for 7 years. No wonder Lautenberg is shamelessly ducking debates with Doug Forrester about today's world.
Raise a child everybody can love with parenting tips from TV's most popular parents. Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle in the next hour of The Early Show.
This Halloween, nothing could be scarier
than missing out on the fastest-selling DVD ever.
Don't panic, don't panic.
Bring home your very own monsters. Buy Disney and Pixar's Monsters, Inc. while supplies last.
Take care of your future now with Bayer Women's Aspirin Plus Calcium. Calcium for your bones, aspirin for your heart. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen and ask about Bayer Women's.
Introducing the world's first truck with 4-wheel steering. The new GMC Sierra Denali with 325 horsepower and quadra-steer. Beats everybody, forwards and backwards.
Tonight, Dave's All New with Rob from Survivor, Bonnie Hunt, and Christina Aguilera. Later this week, don't miss kids in Halloween costumes and brand new stand-up from Jerry Seinfeld. This week on Dave.
Wednesday on 60 Minutes 2, eBay. This man's hobby has changed the way we do business. And millions are cashing in on it. The eBay story, Wednesday at 8, 7 Central.
The Early Show continues now from the General Motors building at Trump Plaza in New York City.
Welcome back to The Early Show. Drug-resistant germs created by the overuse of antibiotics are a growing health threat in this country. An estimated 50 million unnecessary antibiotic prescriptions filled each year are a major part of the problem. Our Dr. Emily Rene takes a closer look at the dilemma in this morning's Health Watch. Good morning.
Good morning,
Why
Julie.
the overuse of antibiotics?
Well, first, you mentioned 50 million prescriptions. Do you realize that's half of all prescriptions written by primary doctors for certain things like colds and things like that? So that's half of all prescriptions are inappropriately given. And the bottom line is that this is really about expectations. You know, we're sick, we don't feel well, or our child is sick, we need to get back to work. We expect to be given a pill. That's part of the American medical system. We want that antibiotic to treat us right away. Problem with that is, in the vast majority of cases when we go to the doctor, we have an illness for which antibiotics don't work. We have a viral illness rather than a bacterial illness. Antibiotics do not work for viruses. They have no effect at all. So what's happening is we're letting these bacteria, these bugs, learn how to fight the drugs. They're getting smarter and smarter. The drugs no longer work, and we've got this terrible resistance problem that we're facing now.
Why is it sometimes difficult for a doctor to know when to prescribe antibiotics?
Well, that's a really good question. A sore throat, a runny nose, a slight earache. Without a laboratory test, it can be very difficult to tell whether or not it's caused by a virus or caused by a bacteria. So that leaves doctors to sort of statistically analyze what's the likelihood that a person has a bacterial infection versus a viral infection. But more and more experts are cautioning doctors to become more definitive about their diagnosis and really make sure that what they're treating is a bacterial infection.
So when should antibiotics be prescribed?
Right, absolutely. In some cases, obviously, you absolutely need an antibiotic. It can be life-saving. For example, people who have ear infections, people who have pneumonia, people who might have strep throat. All these things can be treated successfully and should be treated with antibiotics.
When should we worry about an infection?
That's such an important question. If you've gone for 10 days to 2 weeks and you haven't been getting better, you've been getting worse, and you have any of the following symptoms, fever, shaking, chills, pain, it's really worth checking in with the doctor and making sure that you haven't developed a bacterial infection, for example, after a cold.
Dr. Emily Rene, good advice. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Julie.
Still to come on the early show, some unsuspecting person out on our plaza is going home a changed person thanks to the makeover magic of celebrity stylist David Evangelista. This is the early show on CBS.
CBS Health Watch, sponsored by Zocor. Talk to your doctor about Zocor today.
About 4 years ago, my doctor said that Zocor was right for me. And since then, I've stuck with it. Ask your doctor if Zocor could work for you. Zocor, be there.
Hello? Ocean Spray White Cranberry has a delicious, less tart taste.
Uh-oh.
Great for drinking.
Kevin?
Even better for spilling. Made with all-natural white cranberries. You've never tasted anything quite like white. White cranberry from Ocean Spray. Crave the wave.
Announcing the Sears Card event, where you'll get an extra 25% off clothing, shoes, and more. And an extra 10% off all tools, electronics, home appliances, and fine jewelry. Where can you get great savings, even off sale prices, just for using your Sears card? Sears. Where else?
You know, we've been rehearsing and going through the motions for the last couple of weeks, and it feels so good just to get the ship off the docks, so to speak.
It's great. And it's floating. It's that's good.
In other words, rehearsals have paid off. We've got much more on the early show after these messages and your local news.
Don't go away.
Tomorrow on The Early Show, fashion lovers, can you tell the difference between designer and discount? We'll put our anchors to the test. So wake up to what's new on The Early Show.
If you have diabetes, you've probably handled thousands of test strips. But no more, thanks to the AccuCheck Compact Meter. Just drop in a drum containing 17 test strips. Press the button and you're ready. 17 consecutive tests and no handling strips. What could be clearer? The AccuCheck Compact Meter. Look for the one with the drum.
Disney's The Santa Claus, the original holiday classic, is available for the first time ever in a special edition DVD. This guy was huge. Plus, in specially marked DVDs and videos, get a free movie ticket to see The Santa Claus 2 coming to theaters. Maximum value $7.
Not every hug is as wonderful as a warm hug from Campbell's. A lunch of Campbell's chicken noodle warms kids up inside and out with golden broth, tender chicken, and fresh egg noodles.
Thanks, Mom.
Find a bowl full of hugs in Campbell's.
Tonight.
What are you hiding, man? What's in there?
Ray reveals a shocking secret that leaves everyone speechless.
Holy
Well, almost everyone. Then, trick or treat.
Stop hitting me! I'm not a pinata!
With Still Standing.
Do you know what you're doing with that hot glue gun?
Oh, Judy, I'm a little... hot glue, hot.
And all new Still Standing right after Raymond. CBS Tonight.
Now, from CBS 2, News on the Hour.
Good morning. I'm Michael Pomeranz. It is 7:55 on this Monday, October 28th. A disgraced former judge who admitted to taking a bribe to fix a civil settlement will be sentenced today. Victor Barron pleaded guilty back in August. Barron allegedly solicited $115,000 from a lawyer in exchange for signing off on a multi-million-dollar lawsuit settlement. He allegedly accepted a first payment of $18,000 in his chambers during a sting operation. The three men fighting to be governor of New York are keeping pretty busy on the campaign trail today. Incumbent Governor George Pataki will greet voters today in Westchester, on Long Island, and on 4 of the 5 boroughs. Democratic challenger Carl McCall will meet with prominent female supporters in Manhattan, and independence candidate Tom Golisano will call for reforms in rent regulations later today. The families and friends of those killed on Flight 587 are headed to Washington, D.C. this morning. They're protesting the National Transportation Safety Board decision to hold fact-finding hearings there. They'll say it prevents family and friends and the Hispanic community from attending these important meetings. The families are going to demand that the hearings be held here in New York City so that they can attend. 7:56 right now. When we come back, we'll take a look at your forecast and your commute.
If you or a loved one suffers from asbestos-related mesothelioma, then you may be eligible to receive significant compensation for your injuries. Protect your legal rights by consulting the law firm of Whites & Luxenberg. Whites & Luxenberg has handled over 500 mesothelioma cases and will litigate your claim with professionalism and sensitivity. Call Whites & Luxenberg today at 1-888-411-LAWS. That's 1-888-411-LAWS.
Welcome to a novel new idea in window shopping, the Hunter Douglas Window Fashions Gallery at Nassau's Window Fashions, where we bring you the most stylish window fashions available today, all beautifully displayed for the ultimate in one-stop carefree shopping, with personalized sales assistants to answer any decorating question and guide you every step of the way. Come in today and experience the Hunter Douglas Window Fashions Gallery, or call Nassau's Window Fashions for a free shop-at-home consultation, 1-866-NASSAU's.
Tonight on CBS 2 News at 6, the long-awaited connection from Montclair to Penn Station's finally up and running. But some New Jersey residents say the Midtown Direct is derailing their quality of life. What's the problem? Tonight on CBS 2 News at 6.
Take a look at the weather right now. Janine Diadamo has your forecast. Hi, Janine.
Good morning, Michael. Today, cloudy skies. We just saw with that live picture there a moment ago. The skies are cloudy, and the morning temperatures are cool. It's 47 degrees right now. This storm system that's going to bring snow to Chicago, rain to St. Louis and Nashville, that's heading our way tomorrow night. So it's our last very dry day. We have 56 for the high temperature. Tomorrow night, the rain increases across the area, and it's going to be a cold rain. The temperatures will be low enough in places like Middletown and even northern New Jersey and inland Connecticut for even some snow and sleet to mix in for your Wednesday morning commute. But today's commute is dry, and we're thankful. Don Pachin now has a look at our morning commute. Good morning.
I'm thankful, too. Good morning, Janine. And that new ferry service from Belford, New Jersey is a great way to get around. Mass transit's on time, but problems on the roadways. Let's go to the maps now. Eastbound on the Jackie Robinson Parkway there at Metropolitan Avenue, a mishap with a tow and cops on that scene. Up in the Bronx, westbound on the Cross Bronx at Rosedale, a two-car crash on the left. And coming from the north, southbound Bronx River Parkway at Scarsdale, you've got a car off the road. Alternate side parking rules are in effect today. Michael, it's back to you.
All right, Don, thanks. We're coming up now on 8 o'clock, and we'll see you back here at 8:25. I'm Michael Pomeranz, and we now send you back to the new early show with Rene, Hannah, Julie, and Harry. Have a good morning.
Can we trust Tim Bishop? Long Island seniors deserve a secure retirement and affordable health care. Tim Bishop criticized a plan passed by the House that could cut the cost of prescription drugs by at least 60%. And yet Tim Bishop supports forgiving the debt third world countries owe to the U.S., a move that could cost Long Island taxpayers their hard-earned money. Call Tim Bishop. Tell him to get his priorities straight. Worry about Long Island before Liberia.
CBS tonight on the smash hit CSI Miami. Sometimes a kiss is just a kiss, and sometimes it's murder.
Why kill a guy who's running from the scene?
Therein lies the rub, my friend.
It's the biggest cover-up you'll ever see.
That's one way to bury your past.
Critics rave CSI Miami packs heat.
This ain't her boyfriend.
It's the most watched new show of the season.
Pink's my favorite color.
The smash hit series, CSI Miami, all new CBS tonight.
Jennifer Aniston and our New York Insider with Kelly Ripa. Next ET.
Very nice start.
Okay, I just want to point out that one sign, Rene, we watched you in Dallas. I paid them to do that. No, it's just...
They just moved here from Carrollton, Texas.
They did, and they put their little sign up and everything. It makes you feel so welcome. And welcome back to the second hour of the early show this Monday morning. I'm Rene Syler.
And I'm Harry Smith. We're off to a good start. We've got folks here from Florida and from White Buffalo Branch, and we're all feeling good about our our brand new start, and we're out here on the plaza on 5th Avenue.
Great day.
What could be better? Ahead this morning, our Kids Connection series practically guarantees an end to the question, are we there yet? With some really creative and good ideas for what to do with the kids on a long car trip.
Right, and we'll have more advice this time from parents who have had, well, how should we put this, mixed success with raising kids. The stars of Everybody Loves Raymond are here with some hilarious tips. First, though, here's Hannah.
Hey, Anna.
All right, thanks, Rene and Harry. Well, as you guys know, we have a whole new look, so we thought we'd bring our makeover king here.
Hannah, give me a hug, baby.
Oh, my God.
What a way to kick off the new early show on CBS with a makeover. Right or wrong?
In case you don't recognize him, this is the crazy David Evangelista from the John Barrett Salon across the way at Bergdorf Goodman.
Who knew?
He's going to pluck somebody out of the crowd, and you have, let's see, not very long, less than an hour to completely make up. So let's get started. All right.
Who wants a makeover? Who wants a makeover, baby? Who wants it? 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 You're getting it! You're getting it! Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go this way!
Over there. Bye. Good luck. We'll be checking in with David and his victim a little bit later on. But first, let's head back inside to Julie for a quick check of the news. Jules, you're safe in there.
I sure am. Thank you, Hannah. Let's get straight to the news. An American diplomat was shot to death in Amman, Jordan this morning. An unidentified masked gunman opened fire as the diplomat was leaving home. The diplomat, identified as Lawrence Foley, worked for an agency that handles foreign aid. Authorities are seeing if the Washington sniper suspects can be linked to other crimes. Early Show national correspondent Thalia Shures is in Rockville, Maryland with that. Thalia, good morning.
Good morning to you, Julie. Well, D.C. police are investigating whether suspects John Mohammed and John Malvo robbed banks in this area in order to finance their operations. This as investigators are examining a handgun recovered from their car for possible links to shootings elsewhere.
In Tacoma, Washington, detectives are reassessing the unsolved murder of Kenya Cook, shot in the face last February when she answered a knock at her front door. Mohammed, also known as John Williams, had fallen out with Cook's aunt. Cook's aunt, Isa Nichols, had sided with Mohammed's ex-wife in a nasty child custody dispute. Police believe she may have been the intended target. In Flint, Michigan Sunday, the man who co-owned the blue Chevrolet Caprice believed to have been used in the D.C. area shootings appeared in court. Nathaniel Osborne, who is being called a material witness, will be moved to Maryland for questioning in the next few days. His arrest came as Maryland prosecutors filed murder charges against Mohammed and Malvo. Today, the state of Virginia is expected to follow suit. But where to try the case remains in question. Earlier, Maryland State Attorney Douglas Gansler spoke to us.
We do not feel that juveniles should be executed in Maryland. We feel that we can give them life without the possibility of parole, and that is something we would probably seek against Mr. Malvo in this case.
Meantime, a sense of normalcy has returned to the Washington, D.C. area. The beautiful weather brought people out to outdoor cafes. Local schools held a full slate of outdoor sporting activities, and about 20,000 runners took part in the annual Marine Corps Marathon. And, Julie, I can tell you that was a spectacular sight to see. I can attest to that. Back to you, Julie.
Glad to hear that. Thalia Shures in Rockville, Maryland. Thank you. A rescue in Moscow left at least 117 hostages dead, most killed by a mystery gas. Unconscious victims were pulled from a theater this weekend. Russian troops spread the gas before storming the building held by Chechen rebels. And former Miss North Carolina Rebecca Revels is turning her attention to the world. Revels won the title in June, but resigned when topless pictures of her surfaced. Now, she's been selected to represent the U.S. in the Miss World pageant. And that is a look at the news this morning. Now, here's an early look at what's going on in your area.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Janine Diadama. The cloud cover, well, it's sticking around through the day. Thick clouds right now. We'll see some breaks and maybe some filtered sun, but overall, it's going to stay pretty cool. We're starting out in the 40s, high temperatures today in the middle 50s, and our forecast stays dry, but that's not the case around the whole country. We're actually seeing a pretty wet weather maker right now developing across the Midwest. That's going to pull east with time, and that'll bring us some showers scattered around the area tomorrow night and early Wednesday.
And this morning we're starting something new that we're going to call the Early Line, and it's a daily look at what's going on in the world, and it really is a chance for us to talk about some of the things that you're talking about on a day-by-day basis. And the thing I think that we want to address this morning, we had Tom Ridge on earlier this morning as Director of Homeland Security, and how secure are we feeling? In light of all of the things that are going on, we have a diplomat shot an imam this morning. We get the Hart-Rudman report says we are so not ready for a terrorist attack. CIA Director Tenet says last week the danger is as high or higher than it was before the September 11th attacks. The sniper last week in suburban Washington, D.C.
Kid in Oklahoma this weekend.
It never stops.
Right.
It never stops.
Right.
And do you feel differently now as a mom, as a parent, than you did a year and a half ago?
Oh, sure. I mean, I don't think you can open up your mail now without thinking of anthrax. I think you see that people were killed mowing their lawn, doing mundane things like going to a craft store, pumping gas, and you feel that your children, that school is not the safest place.
So, but is it all in your mind, or have you actually changed the way you go about your daily life?
Well, one of the things that Hannah and I were talking about, since we're both the mothers of young children, she was saying last week, would you send your child to school?
And in the D.C. area during the sniper
and while you do
shootings,
want to maintain some degree of normalcy in your child's life, you also have to weigh that with their security. And I can tell you honestly, call me irrational if you will, but I felt like if I lived there, I wouldn't feel comfortable sending my child to school. And Hannah, you took directly the opposite approach.
I disagree with that, because I think that with all the bad news that we're getting, I think you can choose to live your life a couple of ways. But if you live your life in a state of fear and you teach your children to do the same, fear is so paralyzing that I don't think that that's an effective way to raise your children. So I would say you give your children... Well,
that the kids were just as afraid in the school. They couldn't go outside. They couldn't go on the playground.
A 13-year-old boy was among those who were shot. And I mean, that is when you start thinking, okay, if I send my child to school and something happens, you would never forgive yourself.
And that came on the heels of the sniper saying your children are not safe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think that it's probably incumbent upon the parents, and it is to give your children a sense of security. Don't pretend like nothing is going to happen to you, but assure them that you're there for them. Right, and leave them in their routine, because that's one thing that makes it feel the most secure.
All right.
Wow. Well, no opinions here, as you can see. So, Well, next on the Early Show, how you can turn an ordinary road trip into something special with your kids. Stay with us. You're watching the Early Show on CBS.
We didn't have that when I was growing up.
Having a busy day? Can't find the time to eat right? Campbell's introduces something so revolutionary, it deserves a hand. Introducing Campbell's Soup at Hand. 4 hot, satisfying soups like creamy chicken and tomato. They're the only soups made sippable in new Heat and Go microwavable cups. Sure, your hands are full, but it's amazing what you can do with new Soup at Hand from Campbell's. Good.
Nourished skin is wonderful stuff. It moves with you, grows with you, fits you perfectly. All thanks to Olay Complete Body Wash. Now with vitamins A, E, and B3, its moisturizing formula leaves skin more nourished than the leading body wash and rinses clean. Love and nourish your skin completely, and it will forever bend over backwards for you. Olay Complete Body Wash with vitamins. Love the skin you're in.
A cough is a cough is a cough. And if it's nothing but a cough, why give her something that treats other things too? New Simply Cough has only the medicine she needs to make a cough simply disappear. Simply Cough, new from the makers of Children's Tylenol. Because a happy kid is a happy kid is a happy kid.
Those eyes and that bright complexion I just idolize. Honolulu, baby, where'd you get that style? And those pretty red lips and that sunny smile.
Dole fruit bowls. Life is sweet.
This week, it's about sex.
He is a marvelous piece of beef, and you certainly are no vegetarian.
Lies.
Me and Wharton. Please.
And more lies.
How dare you pretend to be having a relationship with me?
Jill's secret is out.
I'm tired of being used as your sex toy.
Now, can she handle the truth on The Young and the Restless?
Good news for politically connected nursing home owners. Governor Pataki is paying big bucks to transfer mentally ill patients from state hospitals to lockdown units in nursing homes owned by his big contributors, all at taxpayer expense. The U.S. Department of Justice is investigating Pataki for violation of the civil rights of our state's most vulnerable citizens. The New York Times called it appalling and said Mr. Pataki can't hide from responsibility. Abusing the mentally ill for campaign contributions? George Pataki. It's about the money.
This morning, we're kicking off a special week-long Kids Connection series, and each day we'll examine different ways parents can bond with their children.
And so we're going to get the show on the road with some ideas for finding quality time in your car, or in this case, your minivan. Margot Gilman is an editor with the Ladies Home Journal. She joins us this morning. Good morning, Margot.
Nice to have you aboard.
Yeah, thanks very much. Now, one of the things that people say is a great time to chat with your kids or find out what's going on in their lives.
You know,
is in the car. Is that really true?
Right, it's true. The average mother spends 7 hours a week ferrying her kids around to various after-school activities, sporting events, piano lessons, which is more time than the typical family spends gathered around the dinner table at night. So rather than think of this as, you know, an inconvenience, this chauffeur duty as a real pain, think of it as a valuable opportunity to have one-on-one time with your children.
But you know what? You're in the car, you're driving along, you say, well, how was your game today? Or how was school today? Okay.
Well, that's right.
Okay. How do you get them to really talk?
Well, it's true. Most kids, and particularly all teenagers, are somewhat on the, they're not exactly the most forthcoming individuals.
Yes, right.
So you have to have devices for entering into conversation.
Right.
If you ask a question that can be answered in a one-word answer, that's exactly what you're going to get.
Yes.
So what you really need to do is to ask specific questions about things that you know are going on in your child's day, their friends, the things they're interested in. You can also talk about yourself. If you share with your child.
It really is a springboard for them to say, oh, right, I felt
like that. I've been having this real problem at work. I have this boss. If you share with them, they may be inspired to come back at you with something that's revealing.
But once you've solved the world's problems with your children, there's other stuff for them to do, especially a long car trip.
Right, yeah. Like, what have you got? This is a minivan with lots of features.
This is like the most whiz-bang minivan. And if you're lucky and smart, you'll think about getting some of these things, particularly for longer car trips. Now we're coming into the holiday season and people are going to be on the road a lot. People have probably seen cars that are equipped with televisions before. This one has a 7-inch DVD.
Wow.
That
now is it visible from all of the seats?
Now in the back.
I'm watching and I'm listening, so that means there's actual silence in the car while you're driving because they're listening to the movie. This is great.
It's a it has 4 wireless headphones.
Oh, so there's no wires either, so you don't have that whole.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And so the kids can
you guys see that in the back? Can you see this? The screen, the video screen?
Yes, he can't even hear you because he's listening to the movie. So, but you know what? He's got something else here. What is this? Here, can we just hold it up and show it? Well, what is this, Margaret?
Well, that's a felt board. Another thing for parents to do is to pack a travel bag for your kids before you set out on a long journey. We have a little example over here.
Oh, look at
Toys that are, can withstand the bumps and, curves of the road.
Right.
Like that, coloring books. You can pack crayons. Here's another wonderful thing for the car. These are audio books. There's a CD you can play, and the kids can listen with the headphones.
So the parents can listen to their own music.
Right. The parents, there's a separate CD system in the front of the car, so the parents can listen to the radio, or they can just have a conversation while the kids are all plugged in.
But you know what? You don't really have to, if you don't have the money to pop for the DVD player or whatever. Look at this. Talk about the old reliable. Right.
The coloring book.
Magnadoodle.
This is a great thing, Harry. Have you ever seen this as a Magnadoodle? This is wonderful.
Yes.
It's got a little magnet on the end, right? And
exactly.
You can write.
And Harry has a little etch-a-sketch.
I have my etch-a-sketch.
Which, I mean, they had these when I was a kid. They just miniaturized them now.
Oh, this is very cool. It's a kind of a car version that's got some extra games on it and stuff.
Oh, yeah, the etch-a-sketch. Yeah.
Another wonderful thing, if you're going on a vacation, is to create a travel journal for your child to use. Just a simple notebook. Your kids can paste souvenirs in here, color, or write about the places they've seen and the people they've met. But then, you know, you never get, there are some things that you can do that don't cost any money at all. And that's just card games like we all played when we were little kids, you know, 20 questions.
Alphabet game.
Totally quiet rocks. Game. You ever play the quiet game?
That one I don't know.
First one to talk loses.
We spent many, many happy hours in my childhood playing the license plate challenge.
Which is also very, very good, too.
Yes, and there were money stakes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you stayed 1 to 25.
Margot, thank you so much. This is Happy Motoring. Thank you so much. If you missed any of our tips, just click on the Early Show website at cbsnews.com. Our Kids Connection continues tomorrow with a rare appearance from best-selling children's author Lemony Snicket. That's right. He'll tell us about his new book called The Carnivorous Carnival.
And still another chart-topping novelist, Scott Turow, gives us a preview of his latest called Reversible Errors. And you can see our makeover is in full swing. Things are looking great so far. The finished product a little bit later on The Early Show.
Look at that. Holy cow.
This Kids Connection segment sponsored by Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. It's the cheesiest.
His mama knows how to make a cloudy sky blue.
His mama knows
how to make a wish come true.
His mama knows
the wonderful way to please me.
His mama knows
all you gotta do is cheese me.
He's got the blue
Kraft macaroni and cheese.
The blue box blues.
Moms know kids want the one in the blue box. Kraft cheese and macaroni. The cheesiest.
His mama knows he got the blues.
There are over 500 Medicare health plans in the U.S. 10 near Carol McCarty offer the care she needs with prescription drug coverage. 3 fit her budget.
Introducing 1-800-MEDICARE, your source for health care information. We'll help narrow your search for health plans in your area so you can find one that's right for you.
Carol chose one that saved her enough to travel and visit her favorite mermaid.
From comparing health plans to learning about flu shots and diabetes screenings, call 1-800-MEDICARE.
I'll remember you. You remember me. We both know how good remembering can be. It's about that connection between me and you.
Know someone having a birthday this month? Send a card.
I'm smiling now 'cause I remembered you.
They'll never forget you remembered.
A cold sore's coming. How long will it last?
Heal it with Abreva. It speeds healing like a prescription without one. It's the only non-prescription that's FDA approved to speed healing. So you're you again faster. Abreva speeds healing like a prescription without one.
When you laugh, your whole mouth shows. And Aquafresh keeps it all protected with 3 toothpaste in 1 for strong teeth, healthy gums, and clean, fresh breath. Today's Aquafresh, the whole mouth paste.
Starting a new job is no simple task, especially when you have to get up as early as we do. And while I've been on this shift for a while, Harry's been missing it for 6 years, these guys are still getting used to the grueling hours. So our fitness guru, Mina Lessig, is going to be here to... Oh my God, it's President Bush. Wait, Mina can wait.
Welcome to New York.
Wow. President Bush.
How are you? Welcome to New York.
Thank you.
Boy, we have other things to do.
How you doing here? All right, there you go. All right,
President Bush.
Yeah.
Julie Chen, nice to
Julie,
meet you.
what a delight.
I can't believe this.
Hannah, how are you?
Store President.
All right.
Rene, Syler.
Hello.
Rene.
Yes,
That's right.
Are you from Texas?
This woman here, she speaks Texan right there.
That's right.
And here's a man, right? Look at him. Looking good. Looking really good.
Are you supposed to be in Mexico?
Oh, no. I snuck away.
Are you here just for, what are you doing in town?
Well, you know, every chance I get, I come to New York. I do. Because I love this place.
Right.
Everybody loves New York. It's great. It's good to be here.
Isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's my kind of town. So, and of course, you know, this is a big deal. It's your early show. Congratulations. Fantastic. Your first. I mean, aren't we pleased? Isn't it doing that great? I mean, I wouldn't miss this for all the money in the world. I wouldn't.
You saw Rudy Giuliani on the show and decided to stop by. Is that
I saw
right?
Rudy. I didn't want to
he might want to run for president because his tryout of the early show anchor thing didn't go too well.
I saw you had Tom Ridge on, and he's a good man. He's an honest man. He came highly recommended by Vince McMahon. That's pretty good. So I want you to know he used to wrestle.
Why is Harry laughing over there?
Oh, he used to wrestle. Not wrestle, but wrestle.
Wrestle.
Right.
Yeah, he's a good wrestler. Yeah.
I don't know if these guys are fooled. These guys are definitely fooled, but this is really Stephen Bridges, who has been impersonating.
You're kidding. This is not really
the amount of makeup that he had on.
Is it the rubber?
I hope the president doesn't wear this much makeup. How long does it take you to look like this in the morning?
It's about 3 hours, a little less now. We're kind of getting it down really well, but it's all fun.
How long did it take to get the dialect and the speech patterns down?
Well, you know, I'm a Texan. So.
Hey, what about these? These are unbelievable. Yeah. I know these ears are wax ears. Now, how long does it take to get it all off?
About 35, 45 minutes, hour, right around there.
Yeah. So what are you going to be for Halloween?
Well, you got it right here. Treat.
Stephen Bridges, thank you so much. Mr. President. Well ahead, those meddling parents from Everybody Loves Raymond, Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle. Plus, we're going to check with David Evangelista for the makeover. This is the early show on CBS. Not this kind of makeover. No, not this kind.
Tomorrow on The Early Show, fashion lovers, can you tell the difference between designer and discount? We'll put our anchors to the test. So wake up to what's new on The Early Show.
This court-ordered notice is about Metropolitan Life Insurance sold before 1973, often door-to-door. African Americans, other non-Caucasians, and their relatives could get benefits in a settlement of claims that they were overcharged. If you qualify, there are deadlines to ask for benefits, to exclude yourself, or take other steps. So call 1-800-960-2381 or go to lifesettled.com, 1-800-960-2381.
It's coming, the most magical time of the year. So get ready now. With True Values, get ready for the holiday sale. Earn over $186 in a rebate on just what you need to prepare for the season. But get ready for the holiday sale at True Value, helping you transform your home into something magical.
Let's see. Perfect. Which brings us to Mr. Friday.
What is that? Atmosphere and those double-glazed baby back ribs. And wherever utensils.
The Fridays take on dinner. Tonight, dig into our mouth-watering double-glazed baby back ribs. Glazed twice for a one-of-a-kind Fridays taste. Eat what you love where you eat at Fridays.
Ooh, banana.
What you doing there?
Just admiring your banana bread, ma'am.
We took the taste of fresh baked banana bread for Quaker Oatmeal Deluxe Collection. So good, you'll wonder where we got the recipe.
Consider this. New Shell gasoline is specially formulated to help prevent deposits in your engine. And a clean engine performs better. Is it any wonder, then, why so many drivers choose Shell?
I have 3 boys. I've always tried to do what's best for them, for their health. And One A Day has helped. It still does. Especially now that I know 1 in 3 men face prostate problems.
Introducing One A Day Men's Health Formula, a new way to help improve those odds. It's a complete multivitamin with 21 nutrients, plus lycopene, which Harvard studies have linked to prostate health.
Sure, 1 in 3 men face prostate problems, but hopefully not one of my 3.
New One A Day Men's, the multivitamin with more for your health.
Did you know a denture adhesive can do more than hold?
I never knew until I tried new Fix-It and Complete. It actually helps prevent bad breath.
Now, I get a much better fit.
Introducing Fix-It and Complete. The strong hold you expect, plus 4 things you didn't. Fresher breath, fewer stains, less soreness, and a better fit.
It helps prevent stains, so my smile always looks great.
It even reduces gum soreness.
Get new Fix-It and Complete, and forget it.
Live from the CBS Broadcast Center, this is CBS 2 News This Morning.
And good morning, everybody. I'm Lisa Hill. It's 8:25 on your Monday morning. Let's get right to your forecast now. Meteorologist Janine D'Adamo's got the details. Hey, Janine.
Good morning, Lisa. The clouds are starting to come on in, and it looks like they're pretty thick in most areas. So today, don't look for too much sunshine. Our storm system is going to be arriving from the west, and that is what is helping to increase the cloud cover today. We've got high temperatures in the middle 50s in New York City, a little bit lower than that in Flanders and Newburgh and Greenwich, Connecticut, 53 there, but skies mostly cloudy everywhere. The rain begins tomorrow night, and overnight we think some of that's going to mix in with wet snow and sleet inland. It looks like for the city and Long Island and much of Jersey, it's going to be just a cold rain. Don Pacine right now has a look at our morning commute, and this one's a dry one.
It is. It's a dry one, but we still have our share of accidents out there. In Queens, northbound, Cross Island Parkway at the Hempstead Turnpike, you've got a crash up there. It's on the right. And to the maps, lower East River crossings, inbound Manhattan Bridge, a left lane hit. FDNY has it covered. Also northbound on the Garden State Parkway at exit 127, a smash-up being attended to. Alternate side parking rules should be followed today, and mass transit's on time. A great option for you. Back to you, Lisa.
Thank you, Don. Have a good day. We'll check this morning's top stories right after this quick break.
Sleek, refined, redesigned. Introducing the 2003 Chevy Silverado Z71 4x4 extended cab. The next big thing from Chevy. And now, Silverado looks better than ever with a lease as low as $389 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for important lease details. Or get 0% APR when you purchase the new Silverado. How's that for a reason to buy? Strength and power never look so good. See your local Chevy dealer.
CBS Tonight is so funny, it's scary. First, Doug fears his marriage is on the rocks.
What's troubling you, son? You never looked heavier.
The King of Queens. Then it's a brand new Yes Dear Vacation nightmare.
I am no longer afraid of death.
And
what are you hiding, man? What's in there?
Ray reveals a shocking secret.
Holy
Next, experience the terror of a school Halloween party.
Stop hitting me! I'm not a pinata!
An all-new Still Standing tonight, part of a very scary CBS Monday. And later, catch Dave on an all-new Late Show.
Preventing miscarriages, how a simple test could help. CBS 2 News at 11 tonight.
A former Brooklyn judge convicted of bribery will be sentenced later today. Victor Barron was supposed to go to jail last month after pleading guilty in August, but he developed health complications. He's facing 3 to 9 years in prison for accepting an $18,000 down payment on a $250,000 bribe. Later today, the Mount Mayor of Mount Vernon will announce what he plans to do about the financial trouble facing his fire department. Firefighters Union says the city's budget problems have forced the Fulton Avenue Firehouse to be closed from time to time. Mount Vernon's fire department is short at least 20 firefighters because of retirement and long-term disability. Late last week, the city council unanimously approved funding for overtime, despite the fact Mount Vernon's mayor did not support that. And New Jersey commuters have a new way to get to work this morning. High-speed ferry service kicked off this morning between Monmouth County and Manhattan. The ferries run every 30 minutes during rush hour, every 90 minutes during the day and evening hours. The ride is pretty pricey at $15 each way, or about $450 a month, but that does include parking and free transfers as well, something to keep in mind. We'll be back in less than a half hour. We'll check your top stories, plus your traffic and weather. Coming up next on The Early Show, some parenting advice from the funny folks of the hit show Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm Lisa Hill. Have a terrific Monday. Now we're going to send you back to Harry, Hannah, Julie, and Renee of The Early Show.
Same local phone service that has all of New York talking is coming to the land of endless boardwalks, saltwater taffy, and big tomatoes. That's right. AT&T local phone service is now in New York and New Jersey. So no matter which side of the Hudson you live on, you now have unlimited calling for just $19.95 a month. You get the convenience of all your local and long-distance calls on one bill. Plus, a rate guarantee till January 1st, 2004. Just give one of our helpful customer service reps a call. They're standing by. signing up is as easy as a day at the beach. Make that the shore. Call 1-800-4ATT now to get unlimited local calling for just $19.95 a month. AT&T local phone service in New York and New Jersey. It's the next best thing to sighting one of the locals.
Spruce up your home and garden. Watch Martha Stewart Living at 9, then Guiding Light and Price is Right.
Good morning, I'm Kenny Rogers. I'm in Atlantic City, and when I wake up to what's new on the early show on CBS. Surely you do too.
Welcome back to the last half hour of the early show. I'm Julie Chen, along with Harry Smith, Rene, Syler, and Hannah Storm. The master of makeovers, David Evangelista, has been hard at work this morning. We've given him less than an hour to give one of our viewers a fresh new look. And we will have the...
That looks like our makeup room in the morning.
Yeah. We're going to have the finished product in just a bit.
She looks pained. Also, I had Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle from Everybody Loves Raymond will be along.
And best-selling author Scott Turow stops by to chat about his latest bestseller.
All right, what should you wear today? Here's an early look at the weather. What's going on in your area?
And good morning. I'm meteorologist Janine D'Adamo. At least for us, we have no rain today, but a lot of cloud cover. The clouds are mainly the high, thin kind, so we'll see some filtered sun throughout the day, maybe some breaks in the clouds, but for the most part, the cloudy weather keeping our temperatures pretty steady in the middle 50s. So we're not going to see too much of an increase in temperatures this afternoon. Across the country, yeah, we're kind of the lucky ones. We have a pretty dry day today. It's stormy today in the Midwest and beautiful and sunny with highs near 90 in Miami today.
And up next, we'll catch up with Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle, two of the stars from the popular sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond. This is The Early Show on CBS.
Hey, don't forget your Pop-Tarts. Great. Got my toaster strudel? Got you covered.
No wonder kids prefer the taste of Pillsbury Toaster Strudel. It's got layers of flaky crust, juicy fruit filling, and do-it-yourself icing.
So where do all your Pop-Tarts go?
Something better just popped up in your grocer's freezer.
Pillsbury Toaster Strudel.
You played well.
I did okay.
You'll beat him next time.
They'll kill us.
Sometimes you just want to give a little more.
You hungry?
Why not start with dinner? Now Stouffer Skillet Sensations has 50% more juicy white meat chicken. Perfectly blended with crunchy vegetables. It's more like what you'd make yourself.
Great. Let's practice.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
Stouffer Skillet Sensations.
Nothing comes closer to home.
This perfect parenting segment sponsored by Stouffer's Skillet Sensations. Nothing comes closer to home.
Well, on classic TV shows like Leave It to Beaver and The Brady Bunch, parents were always offering words of encouragement and unwavering support for their children.
But talk about intrusive. All right, the parents on the hit sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond, they take a slightly different approach.
You could say that, yes. Doris Roberts
We told you were a good writer so that you would think you were a good writer. Then somebody gave you a job. That's what parents do. They all lie to their kids for their own good.
But other parents aren't lying, Ma. They believe in their children.
No, they don't.
Oh, my. Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle play Marie and Frank Barone on Everybody Loves Raymond. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
Now, parents really do believe in their children. We know you're just playing that role on TV. You're not really like that.
No, I personally, no.
Absolutely not. How would you describe Marie and Frank's parenting style, if they have a style?
Iron fist. No.
Works well?
What?
It works well?
Not well enough. You got to keep pounding, actually.
Well, considering our children, I don't think it works very well at all.
Yeah, right. You've got Raymond, who is the, overachiever. Then there's, Robert. Poor Robert.
Yeah.
Poor forgotten Robert. Doris, she actually feels, though, Marie, that she is a wonderful mother. And she is doing something right. I mean, the audience loves her despite the fact that...
What I love is that if you can laugh at that character, you can laugh at your own parents, which we need to do sometimes. Because I've gotten to the age where I know that humor is more important than food or sex.
I haven't gotten to that. I haven't gotten there yet. I like the three of them equally.
Humor will last longer.
Do you think, Peter, that Frank is a good father? Does he think he's a good father?
Of course not.
Yeah. Does he believe he's a good father?
I think he does the best he can, and that's not very much. But he believes when he's being what some people would term borderline abusive, that he's actually helping, Ray be a tough guy.
Right, a strong
Because he doesn't
guy.
want him to be soft or weak or...
And some fathers do treat their sons that way.
They treat them badly to prepare them for a wicked world.
Right. Now, do you think that people can actually, through all the humor, see something valuable in the family relationships? I mean, what do you hope they take out of the show?
I think they can identify, which is really important, that their parents are as crazy as we are.
Yeah.
Do people always walk up to you and say, hey, you remind me of my mom?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I get it a lot, and a lot from young women in their 30s and 40s. Who say, you remind me of my father so much.
I personally, I'm glad to hear you describe women as
young.
in their 30s and 40s as young. Hannah and I both.
Well, yeah.
I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah, young to me.
If I had a mother-in-law like Marie, I don't know what I would do. I feel so sorry for Deborah.
But you want to kill her. See?
Yes,
but why do you laugh?
absolutely.
Why do you laugh at her? Isn't that interesting?
Laugh at Marie?
Yeah.
Because she's well-intentioned, I think.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right, she means well.
Everything she does comes from love. She's intrusive, she's a pain in the neck, and I've raised that level or lowered it. I mean, she's all those things. She's a control freak, but she does it because she thinks that she's correcting you.
What is it about mothers and food, too? Because I know when my daughters are upset, I'm like, sit down, let's have a cookie, we'll make some tea, and the whole world will be better.
When the child starts to toddle away, they're really saying, ta-ta, Mommy, I'm going away. We don't know that. We don't read about it. There are no books about that I know of. And when they leave your home, you have nothing left. You don't have any purpose, you think.
Just so you know, Doris's son is her manager.
Yes,
right.
we know that.
That's how she solved that problem.
Right, he's never far away.
The empty nest dilemma.
And you have two daughters, and we assume your parenting style is much different.
Well, I just came from Parents' Weekend at Brown University.
Oh, wonderful.
I have two daughters at Brown.
And you're writing a book, aren't you, about sort of motherhood and...
It's about life, laughs, and lasagna.
That's right, yes.
Good combination.
Great combination.
You've got some other projects, both of you, the book, and then also you are going to be starring, and I believe it's called
Hanson Master Spy.
Right.
It's a CBS special series on next Sunday night. About Robert Hansen, the FBI spy, with William Hurt and Mary Louise Parker, and yours truly, playing an awful father.
Right, a worse father.
Worse father, yeah.
Right. Is that possible?
It is possible.
A departure from your usual role, isn't it? Yes.
Well, I'm on a terrible father run.
All right.
I'm a little upset you didn't bring us any cannolis. I hope that's coming next.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, listen, Doris Roberts, Peter Boyle, thank you so much for getting up early on our first day of the new show. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Well,
congratulations.
we knew you needed our help. So
And I hope the show continues as well.
I hope the show continues for you, too.
Yes.
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, so do we. Well, of course, you can catch Everybody Loves Raymond tonight at 9, 8 Central, right here on CBS. Now here's Harry.
And talk about small world. Scott Turow is here. Scott, Chicagoan. Your first date with your wife, you went to see who?
Second City and Peter Boyle.
And Peter Boyle was there. Peter, could you hear that? Scott Turow was on his first date. He went to see you at Second City in Chicago.
Oh. Did you hear that, Peter? Yes.
It's all your fault.
Back in the 60s, Scott.
Yes.
He was a student at Amherst on his hiatus.
How about, see that? Now, so there are all these connections here this morning. You're a Chicagoan, and I'm a Chicagoan, and on we go. But we're here to talk about this morning, and it's good to see you again after about 10 years, actually.
Great to see you too, Harry. Welcome back here.
Brand new book is called Reversible Errors, and it examines the impact that one death penalty can have on many, many lives.
Right.
Lots of things I want to talk to you about first. In real life, who is Alex Hernandez?
Alex Hernandez is a client of mine, a former client now, who was on death row in Illinois for many years before being exonerated.
And not long after that work with that client, you were to join a commission in the state of Illinois to examine the death penalty.
Right.
What was that experience like?
Well, we spent 2 years, this group of 14 people, studying the death penalty in Illinois at the invitation of our governor, George Ryan, and we ultimately recommended a menu of reforms designed to enhance both the accuracy and the fairness of the application of the death penalty in Illinois.
Because the governor put a moratorium on the death penalty.
Yes, he did.
Because?
Well, because 13 people, including Alex, had been exonerated, who had been previously sentenced to death, and he thought that was a miserable track record, and I happen to agree with him.
Before your experience with the death penalty, what was your opinion about it?
Well, you know, I'd been a prosecutor federal prosecutor for 8 years, and I really felt that the death penalty was occasionally an ugly necessity.
An ugly necessity. And now, after this experience with Rodriguez, and then especially with the panel in Illinois, have you changed your mind?
I have changed my mind, and it's not that I think the death penalty is immoral or even an unjust punishment in particular cases. I cannot see, though, how we can construct a fair capital system. We've been trying to do this for many, many years in this country, and it never works. The most prominent cases always seem to deserve that punishment, but at the other end you get innocent people or people who simply don't deserve that punishment who also fall into the system.
It can't be executed fairly. I mean, excuse the choice of words.
It may be fair in individual cases, but the results we get as a system are much too costly overall. Certainly nobody wants to execute innocent people.
Which brings us to the book. There's a guy, your main, the defendant in the case.
Correct.
It confesses the crime.
Right.
People are on board, pretty much believe what's gone on.
Right.
And he's days away from execution, and he says, I didn't do it.
Right. Correct. He says that he didn't do it, and more to the point, another prisoner in the same institution who's dying steps forward and says, I'm the one who committed the crime. For understandable reasons, the prosecutors are very, very skeptical about that, and that's what sets everything in motion.
Because in real life, if something like that happens, as you write in the book, the prosecutors are just, they're not really going to take it seriously.
Well, I mean, in this case, in this book, it's been 10 years, and all of a sudden, this man is claiming that he's innocent, and somebody else is backing him up, and naturally they suspect that it's a prison conspiracy. And those things do happen.
I have always been a fan of yours, and as I started the book over the weekend, well, listen, I am not alone, believe me. I've got to be thinking, and please accept this as a compliment, that your craft as a writer just really continues to improve. And there's a kind of a passion in here. Just listen to this sentence or two. So this is it, the guy was thinking. He might as well have held up a sign. Larry still saw that look at all the time. He beheld it on Gus's face now. The largest thing in life, death.
Yeah.
And it filled Larry on each occasion with the exacting, breathless emotion of one of those perfect realist paintings you see in a manuscript, in a museum, I'm sorry, Hopper or Wyatt.
Right.
It makes you stop, and makes you think about what this character, it's not a pot-boiling sort of a thing that this is lovely writing. It's lovely writing.
Thank you. Look, my goal has always been to tell a good story and to tell it with craft. You know, that was the vision I had when I started out writing these books, and it still is.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that response.
What people may or may not know is that you still work.
I do, as a lawyer.
As a practicing lawyer. How in the world do you find time to do both?
Well, I haven't practiced full-time since 1989. I pick my cases as a lawyer very judiciously, and I do a lot of public work or pro bono work, as well as work for private clients. And, you know, and the truth is, I work hard. I spend, you know, most of every day up till 10, 11 o'clock at night working.
Well, it is great to see you again.
Harry, thanks.
Congratulations on the new book. Terrific. If you'd like to read an excerpt from Reversible Errors, just log on to the Early Show website at cbsnews.com. Now here's Julie and Hannah.
All right, thanks, Harry. David Evangelista has been working hard with this team at breakneck speed to give one of our viewers a whole new look. Don't turn around.
And doesn't the back of her head look?
It's shiny.
We're going to unveil his latest makeover masterpiece next when the Early Show returns. Come back.
Who should pay to clean up toxic waste? Senator Frank Lautenberg wrote the law forcing corporate polluters, not New Jersey taxpayers, to pay for toxic cleanups. But Doug Forrester wants taxpayers to foot the bill for cleaning up Superfund toxic waste sites. Forrester even called for raising the gas tax on commuters to pay. Call Doug Forrester. Tell him corporate polluters, not New Jersey taxpayers, should pay for toxic waste.
Never.
I don't think so.
Ask New York's Medicare beneficiaries if they'd switch from HIP VIP Medicare plan, and you're likely to get a great big no. But hey, who could blame them? With $0 copay for annual physicals, $0 copay for office visits, and $0 copay for hospital admissions. And we're talking some of the top doctors, top hospitals. Not to mention no-cost eyeglasses and unlimited generic prescription drugs. It's a health plan that makes you a VIP.
Who doesn't want to be a VIP?
Search me. Plus, if you call now, we'll send you a free copy of Making Sense Out of Medicare, a guide that explains Medicare in easy-to-understand language.
Keep your hands off my hip.
I didn't touch it. Now that's HIP VIP Medicare plan.
Now that's hip.
Cancer cells, and they're growing. Doctors or lab technicians can fail to diagnose cancer when they should detect it. What if cancer diagnosis comes too late or not at all, and treatment is delayed or never begun? It does happen. That's when you need expert legal help. You owe it to yourself and those who love you to find out if a horrible error has changed your life. If you think it is possible, if you have questions and want answers, call Jacoby & Myers, 1-877-JM-LAWYER.
Okay, what's behind curtain number one? It's time to check up on the king of all makeovers, David Evangelista. We dared him to randomly pick a woman out of the crowd here on the plaza and give her a totally new look in less than an hour.
Now here's a look at a before picture of your makeover winner. Okay, we have the before.
There she
and are
is.
we ready? Drum roll, please. And now here's what Sandra looks like after. Wait, no, that's
This is not Sandra. Okay, this is Sandra.
The makeover.
You're beautiful.
This is Sandra Cronin. She's 32 years old.
Right, from
She's
Toronto.
from Toronto. She's a pharmaceutical rep. And David
And she's
plucked her out of the
newly
crowd.
pregnant.
Yeah,
Newly pregnant, expecting a baby in March.
Oh, that's great.
She looks great, right?
Congratulations.
All
Yeah,
right,
you
this
look
is quite
great.
in need of a makeover.
What did you do to Sandra?
Actually, I razored her hair, so it was like much lighter around here. It kind of made it more wispy. Parveen Klein, the color director, John Barrett, just richened her tone a little bit more, made it a little bit warmer. And Denise Chaplin really warmed up her skin. See, has nice peachy tones in her cheeks. She's so pretty.
Did you get contacts too?
No.
You have glasses. How many fingers? Okay.
And actually, the clothes are Jessie Di La Farina top, Russo pants, and Dominica styled her.
Now, you could have sprung for a coat. It's a little chilly
Okay, hold on here. You want my coat, baby? Look at arms. How are arms?
Now, let me ask you a question. If
Sure.
she's getting ready to have a baby in March, is she's going to be really busy? Is she going to be able to do this at home?
The cut she had before, it was really, really solid. This is going to be much easier for her to style. It's much lighter. I razored the ends, like I said, and it just moves more. Shake that head. Shake it like you just don't care. Shake it hard.
Sandra, how do you feel? What do you think of your makeup?
Fantastic. The
Does it feel
haircut
lighter?
it's so much lighter. It's just fun to play with. It's going to be really good to style every day.
Oh my God, my hair feels so light. It's just walking out of Bergdorf's.
What about the makeup? Is it pretty simple?
Yeah, really, all I did is
You can do
concentrate
it?
on her lips. You know what I mean? Really nice, fleshy tone on her lips with some gloss. And we just, like I said,
What'd you do with her eyes?
we just put a really, really simple, like, neutral brown tone on her eyes. And really warmed up her cheeks.
Did they plunk your eyebrows?
A little bit. All right, don't tell anyone. A little bit.
That wasn't painful. You guys were jerking her around. And
Should we see? Your husband has not seen the transformation.
No, he hasn't.
Let's bring
right.
him in. Hey, Tim. Tim
Now,
has
this is
kept
Tim,
his back
right?
to the camera.
That's right.
Okay, there he is.
Doesn't she look good, your wife?
Looks stunning.
There's going to be another baby coming
right,
soon.
Right.
Now, what do you think, Tim?
Oh, she's fantastic.
Does it look like Sandra?
Yes.
Well, not want her to go back to the glasses?
Without or with them, she looks gorgeous.
Let it out. Let it out. How does she really look?
Nice.
Fantastic.
Good, good.
Now, Sandra, what are you going to do today? Are you guys here on vacation?
We're on holiday. We're on holiday.
Excellent.
Yeah, romantic getaway before the kids.
So now at like 9 a.m. you got to go out to dinner. You look great.
You're all dressing up. Let's bring in Rene.
We'll start with lunch.
This is what I thought, isn't it?
See, this way.
We had our camera.
Look at it.
This is what I thought it's changed into.
I know, that's why I said, not Sandra.
Camera was on you, real tight.
Well done, well done.
That would be a lovely after as well.
That's a makeover.
What was it like having all those people fuss over you?
Oh, it was hilarious. Those guys are great up there.
Yeah, it's kind of nerve-wracking, isn't it? Sandra, you look wonderful.
The pressure was on, though.
All right. Well,
we did it.
Good job, David.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, now while you folks at home are getting to know us, we're also getting to know one another. So last week our boss, Michael Bass, gave us a little homework, and the assignment was to create biographies of each other, and it started out by picking names from fortune cookies. Here's a look.
There's going to be a live interview. Okay, Julie.
She goes right nobody eat them, so no one can eat any of them. Oh, I got a white one. I will be profiling the daily numbers. 0, 6, and 2.
What's your fortune?
Oh, wait, there it is.
Oh, there.
Wait, the fortune is you have a quiet and unobtrusive nature.
That is so not true.
I'm very calming. Okay, here's the person I'm profiling. Oh, man, it's Harry.
That is such pressure.
Take 2. I'm picking.
You don't want it? You don't want to profile me?
Mr. Biography? I mean, don't you think that's a lot of pressure profiling you? I do.
Do you trust me to do an accurate portrayal?
Well, it's going to be like, watching grass grow.
It is not.
I'm not that interesting.
Liar.
All right.
She'll draw it out of you. She'll draw it out of you.
Okay. So I pick one? Mm-hmm. Okay. What if I get you, though?
Well, the nanny.
Can we do each other?
Yes. Oh, you got yourself.
Go there.
All right, I get to see my face first.
All right, so now, wow, this makes it really
Let's
interesting.
shake them up a little bit.
I wish I would have listened again. Wow.
Wait, let's do it together.
Wait, where's the? Oh, it's in here. Okay, all right. So
there might be a court of appeals here.
I'm doing Julie too. Wow.
So many angles.
Now you have to wait a minute. They all say Julie because mine says Julie.
No, would you pick? I picked myself. Now that's good.
Okay, yeah, we're not doing this right.
All right, what color are you in
on
there?
this?
Oh gosh. Okay, let's just read our fortunes. Oh,
Renee,
look at
take
this
this
fortune.
one.
You guys.
I got Harry.
Take this one.
This fortune says a good time to start something new.
Mark that. Mark
I think
that.
I'll keep
Mark
that. And I'm doing Rene.
Okay. Did you find? Did you?
Wow, how about that? Okay, so all next week you're going to see what we learned, or rather what we uncovered about each other. And all the fun begins tomorrow. We're going to pick on the new kid, Rene Syler, tomorrow, and we're going to tell you all about it. You're not going to believe it. All right. Hope you liked our very first show. We're going to be back again tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Tomorrow on The Early Show, fashion lovers, can you tell the difference between designer and discount? We'll put our anchors to the test. So wake up to what's new on The Early Show.
Sleek, refined, redesigned. Introducing the 2003 Chevy Silverado Z71 4x4